Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to update you on the $113,000 dividend portfolio, but more importantly, we're also going to be talking about what $235,000 in student loans can do to you. So let's jump right into this. Welcome back, my passive income investors alike. Today is going to be a fun video because not only are we going to talk about the buy the dip last week for the gains this week, because all of you keep going on about this inverted yield curve, and the inverted yield curve at least has to be inverted for longer than 10 minutes for it to be a real indicator of what I would call a recession coming. In fact, every time that yield curve gets inverted, it needs to be inverted at least for any real recession in past history anyways to come, would have to be inverted for at least a month. And that still only says that a recession comes from somewhere between 300 to 500 days after that even happens. So just look into the past history of all this, guys, before you start flipping your nargans about the recession that's coming, because it seems to be on everybody's mind. But we're going to head over to the computer today. We're just going to quickly go through the best performing stocks because, let's be real, everything seems to be back up this week. Monday had a big pop. A lot of those shorts on the tech stocks aren't too happy right now, or they're praying for some stupid Trump tweets to help give some more uncertainty into the markets. But anyways, guys, we're going to head on over, break the portfolio down, look at this $235K in debt, and what delusion looks like when you ruin your life. So come on, guys, let's check it out. All right, ladies, gentlemen, passive income investors, this is going to be the funniest video we're going to break down for you, but not just yet. I was watching this on Minority Mindset, and I'm just like, I got to talk about this. This is unreal. But before we get into the delusional insanity of debt, we'll quickly analyze the portfolio, just to really quickly scan over it. I do this a lot on a weekly basis, and this is the Monday jump because, like I said, guys, everything is rebounding. People are expecting the banks to have a bad earnings, but they're even coming back with the market right now. So you can do is hope, guys, that everything kind of levels off. But I don't know what's going to happen. I'm really excited to see the bank earnings coming out very shortly here for Canada, guys. It's gonna be an interesting earnings season for those guys. But anyways, other than that, everything, like, I don't know what's pretty much in the red today, guys. I'm pretty sure every stock I pretty much hold that I looked at is in the green. Altria was coming back. Tobacco stocks are coming back a little bit today. Everything's holding up quite nicely. And if you don't know my portfolios, this is my tax-free savings account. You'll notice I have the drips reset up. I don't know if I have dividends coming yet or not. I can't remember if that's how much money I had in the account before. But the dividends stream in fairly regularly, and I just set all the drips back up. But looking forward to collecting some more shares to increase that dividend cash flow. My managed account seems to be doing okay. It's clearly buying Starbucks wasn't a bad call. I'm surprised. I've been dying for it to go back down. And there's so many stocks like that, like Visa, MasterCard. There's so many stocks that just run, and they catch like a glimpse where you can get a good discount, maybe not even a good discount, like fair value count, maybe like once every other year or something like that. But it's really nice to see MO coming back up. I can't get over how British American Tobacco and MO I think are going to dominate the entire vape market. I was just, every time I go into a Max or gas station now, it's either Vype, which is owned by British American Tobacco, or Juul, which is owned obviously by Altria Group. And I think it's great that they've got their products finally to the point where they're like the main branding for tobacco products now. And because there's no real ad laws against them right now, if you walk into any of these places, you'll see the ads for these vapes big and bold, whereas the tobacco's got to be hidden in the back. Incredible things I think are going to come of this, guys. What a great decision Altria did by buying Juul. Absolutely brilliant, I think. Really smart on that aspect of it. I hope Tesla stays down. I want to see Tesla hold off right where it is. I really like the value it sits at right now. I think it's at still an over premium, but I think it's a fair value, in my opinion, from even where I bought it. I'd be happy buying right here. Man, it's going to be hard, though, because I'm so focused on dividends right now. I'm glad I have a bit of it anyways. I'm really glad I have this exposure to it. But I'd like to lever down here at some point. This won't load. I'm just going to keep moving on. We don't got time. I don't want to waste your time. And then finally, the RSP basic indices are pretty much back to almost where they were, so nothing really changing there. And then my final account in my Royal Bank account where I was buying 3M. So I purchased 3M on your behalf. So you guys recommended 3M. And now it opens. Tesla. But we're going to look at 3M now. This one's been really beaten into the ground, but I'm glad that we've been buying this based on your opinions. So this one's been coming back a little bit today as well. I'm going to try and purchase a little bit more of it, but I own $2,000 worth. Literally, you guys voted for me to buy this stock, so it's going to be fun, like I said, to constantly keep an analysis on it. I'm up on the U.S. exchange right now because the dollar, I bought this when the Canadian dollar was up. But on the share value, I'm still down just a wee bit. Not like enough to make a difference, but still just a wee bit, right? Now, let's get into the fun of this, guys. I will do further breakdowns in time, but because for a lot of my regular subscribers, I don't want to bore you guys too much. So I want to show everybody something that I found today. This is what I'm going to share with you. Let me match the volume for you, and we're going to break this down. So kind of enjoy the hilarity and delusion of massive student loan debt.
Like, I am doing the best that I can under the circumstances.
You're paying about 3% towards your debt.
Yeah.
I think you could do better.
But why?
Here I am at Simon's apartment, excited to go upstairs and meet him. I've heard some numbers being tossed around, like $235,000 in student loan debt.
So these guys are actually really awesome. They're very smart financial advisors, very calm, very level-headed, and then they're going to approach this guy. I'm going to skip to the fun part here. We'll start with the beginning interview for Simon Galperin. Owes $235K.
And my problem is that I have $235,000 worth of student debt from my public education that I see no way of ever paying off. This was the first year, last year, that I've made $65,000 in a year. The year before that, I made 27. My partner and I have been together for over 11 years now. We just don't know what marriage looks like with student debt. I don't want to be focused on paying off my debt. I want to be focused on building a life for myself. I know that I'm facing...
Okay, so this guy obviously doesn't grasp the reality of how he is living, and it's absolutely insane what this guy thinks. So let me just skip straight into the interview.
negligible amount.
Okay. So right now, are you paying the minimum payment each month?
Yes. I pay $35 a month.
How does that make you feel, $35 a month?
My goal is to pay $35 a month until I die.
You can't begin to grapple with paying more. Why?
If I began to think about what does it look like to pay down $235,000 house 30 years ago, I need to make decisions about my life right now. So to me, that means building a life for myself that doesn't focus on paying down my debt.
You could pay an extra $100 a month and you could cut that loan term down to
Please admire that these loans are undefaultable. You take them to the grave with you. Literally. I don't think there's been anything else you could ever take to the grave with you but student loan debt. And this guy wants to worry more about his life and buying a home than ruining his entire legacy.
25 years. You could pay more and cut that loan term down to 16 years. Suddenly it becomes very manageable. And that's just paying a little bit more. Now, how do you do that? Obviously, there's 2 or 3 ways. I call it CEO. Cut costs, earn more. We can talk about that. You've already gone up $30K in a year, which is amazing. And then optimize your spending. So there are certain areas that you are probably spending on right now that you could shave off $100 a month, $200 a month.
I believe that if I chase an income, I'm not gonna live a life that I think is worth living for me.
Now, this is where the delusion begins. I really want you to pay attention to the advice this gentleman gives to this kid. This has to do with the dopamine levels in your brain. We all function on dopamine, guys. And when you don't lay out the long-term plan, you get caught up in the short-term macro dopamine rushes of, oh, I can take out 200 grand to go to school. Then you get out of school and you realize how much work is involved when you take out that kind of money. And then all of a sudden, you end up in his situation where you're like focusing on the macro again, where it's just like, I just want to do it now. I want what I want now. This is what I call entitlement.
I'm really oriented around mission and making sure that my work has a positive impact. I'm not interested in seeking more income for the sake of seeking more income. And I am taking back my power, and I will not participate in that system. And maybe what that looks like is my parents passing, and I do not want that to happen. It is a cost that I will bear. That we immigrated from the Soviet Union and my parents bought a home and they lived their whole lives for their son. And then at the end of the day, he has to sell that house to a bank because he was intended to fulfill this dream that they had for him. I'm fulfilling the dream. My goal is not paying off debt to some company who's
Dodge, 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 dodge. That's what this gentleman's doing here. Let's be real. You know, taxpayers pay that back, right? Like, your parents are the ones that are literally, and every other person, you put the burden onto them for your own stupidity. And instead of owning up to it, you're going to go on to a sob story to get people to feel bad for you. I don't know what the sob story. I'm not trying to be heartless here, guys. I do understand the dilemmas, but I think what happened here is his parents pushed him into getting an education to further his career, and instead he kind of pissed it away, and his parents pushed that loan onto him when he was probably too ignorant to know what he was doing. And now we have this. And I love this guy. This guy's kind of brilliant.
CEO can buy himself a private golf course. My goal is to change the world, leave it better than I found it. Chasing income is not the way to do that.
Simon, you only have 3 ways that you can approach this financially.
Yeah.
If you want to pay your debt off, which is a big if you want to pay it off faster than 30 years,
Yeah.
then there's 3 ways to do it.
Yeah.
You can cut costs,
Yep.
which you told me you don't want to do, or maybe it'll save you
Which
20
might not be
bucks.
possible.
Okay. You can earn more, which you told me you don't want to do, and you can optimize your expenses by calling up and negotiating $100 here or there.
Yeah.
So there's no magic solutions here.
Yeah,
All of those, though, would work very well and would allow you to cut that debt down dramatically.
What is the benefit of me paying an extra $500 a month?
What if your debt was paid off a year from now? What
The benefit, not burdening society, leaving a legacy. If you have kids, you're not going to ruin them.
changes in your life?
Not much.
If you don't see any change
Yeah.
when your debt is paid off,
Yeah.
if you haven't internalized that, then why?
But what's the change?
Your parents don't have to pay $600 a month towards your debt.
It's true.
And maybe the conversation with your girlfriend changes as well. And maybe the conversation about saving for a house or whatever else you want to do changes as well. If you don't see that, then it's no surprise that this conversation is stuck.
I want to make my life today, not worry about what my life is going to look like 40 years from now.
Listen, Simon, I appreciate
Yeah,
the time.
I appreciate
I
the
wish
time.
you the best.
Dopamine. Self-entitled.
Yes.
This is like useful though. I'm really grateful for your time.
Simon, it's good to see you. Heard you had a conversation with our friend Ramit. Has anything changed?
This is where we move up the ladder. This guy's like, all right, he's hopeless, boys. He's hopeless. What are we going to do? And then they bring in this guy.
Changed in your financial life since then?
Sure. So since my conversation with me, I've gone to half-time at the company I was previously working full-time
Okay.
for.
So things that were previously difficult, maybe more difficult right now?
Certainly.
Tell me a little bit about what your financial goals are.
What I really think is important to me is a savings account of 3 to 6 months and beginning to save money to put a down payment on a mortgage on a home.
So it sounds like these more short-term goals are more important to you than perhaps paying off student loan debt or some longer-term goals that you have.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about how you've come to terms with the fact that there might be consequences to not paying back your debt.
You know, it's possible that I will die with debt, that I won't be able to retire because of my debt. I know that all of these things are going to happen, so I'm playing my cards.
Right. So you think you're making a calculated...
I don't think these guys are teaching him to understand about passive income. This guy needs to be watching this channel. Like, you can find ways to make money in something you enjoy on top of that. I don't, like I said, it's hard to, I wish you could just prop my brain in this guy's brain just for like a few moments and be like, oh, boom, this might be tackleable. It kind of reminds me of what Bill Gates always said at Microsoft when he said, if I had to start from zero, he's more than confident he's going to be a multimillionaire again within a short period of time just with the knowledge he has. Remember, guys, knowledge is power. Dopamine and short-term thinking laid you down this path.
decision as to, okay, this is what I'm going to do because, again, life is either too short or there are things I want to do today. I'm not going to be, denied, Now, I still think you should pay back your debt, okay? And I
Sure.
still think that obligation needs to be paid,
Yeah.
okay? But how you go about doing that might not be
This guy laughing his ass off. He's like, I'm not paying that back. Look at that. He's like, buddy, I don't care.
as conventional as people think it is. But still, I'll throw it out there. How much time is being spent doing things not related to work? Could you take on a job that maybe you don't want to? The answer is yes, you're choosing not to. but you know why it is you're doing that. I think hands down one of the most fascinating things about the conversation we had in the context of money makeovers is we typically look for that solution at the end of it, that easy answer. And if there's anything I can say here is there's no easy answer. There's you, your life, and the decisions that you're gonna make. And I admire that you're taking ownership over your situation, whatever that may bring you. So for that, you have my respect. And I wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you, John.
Guy's just cringing, like, you know, in his head he's dying, and he's just doing, like, you could tell this guy's a financial guy because no expression to his face, because you know inside he's just like, oh my god, this kid's screwed, he's ruining the economy, this is the reason we're screwed. You know he's just dying inside. Now I do feel bad for anybody that obviously has this situation. It is detrimental, and I don't want to put all of the blame onto him. I don't think this is completely his fault. I do think there's a combination of things that lead to circumstances like this. And I recently made a video that, you know, 50% of people that take out student loans don't end up getting the jobs they went to school for. And this is a well-primed example of that. I'll leave a link in the description below. You guys can watch the whole thing if you want. It's kind of hilarious, in my opinion. Wow, man, what did he go to school for? Like, seriously though, oh man, I shake my head. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay cool, stay awesome. I look forward to chatting to you real soon.